We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
You're listening to Carousel Sniper Victim, a Dead Glass Design production, with your host, Sean Jeffrey.
I wanted this to be professional, efficient, adult, cooperative, not a lot to ask. Alas, your Mr. Takagi did not see it that way, so he won't be joining us for the rest of his life. We can go anywhere you want us. You can walk out of here or be carried out. But have no illusions. We are in charge. So, decide now, each of you. And please remember, we have left nothing to chance.
Get them back! Knock them out!
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
You know, Christmas hasn't always been the well-received holiday that we celebrate today. Christmas was actually a criminal offence in England for 16 years. The celebration of Christmas was banned on account of its, quote, carnal and sensual delight by the Long Parliament of 1644. Cromwell's Puritans abhorred the Christian elements of the Christmas ritual because they were Catholic, the pagan parts because they were pagan, and, well, the festive bits because they were festive. Instead, Christians were directed to fast, and the army sent out Yuletide snatch squads on house-to-house searches for illicit Christmas dinners which they doubtless consumed themselves. In 1647, the ban was actually extended to Easter and other festivals. Christmas was finally reinstated along with Charles II in 1660. With empty pockets trying to pay for expected commercialised happiness, exhaustion from the rest of the year weighing heavy, and weather that's either scorchingly hot or freezing cold depending on where you are in the world, the mood surrounding the season, for some people anyway, Christmas can oftentimes be the worst part of the year. Lest we forget that this time of the year isn't always filled with Christmas spirit. A familicide is a type of murder or murder-suicide in which a perpetrator kills multiple close family members in quick succession. Most often children, the spouse, siblings, or parents. In half the cases, the killer then kills themselves in a murder-suicide. If only the parents are killed, the case may also be referred to as parricide. Where all members of a family are killed, the crime may be referred to as family annihilation. And what season seems to be will pair perfectly with a bit of family annihilation? Christmas. The Yuletide season is supposed to be one filled with peace on earth and goodwill towards men and women, and a celebration of joy.
A Christmas Eve party became a crime scene. The bodies inside so badly burned that police were unsure if the victims died in the shooting rampage or the subsequent fire.
Extremely unusual and very shocking. It's just not something we see here at any time of the year, especially during Christmas.
Christmases were like, just that special time of the year. It meant so much to them. And it's almost like he planned it, for him to come and do this on such a special night.
On the 24th of December, 2008. The Ortega family invited all 5 of their adult children and their families to their home in Covina, California, a quiet, low-crime community about 22 miles east of Los Angeles. The Ortegas, Joseph and Alice, loved Christmas, and it was their favourite time of the year to spend with their 2 oldest sons, James and Charles, and their daughters Letitia, Alicia, and Sylvia. That Christmas Eve, the family played a boisterous game of poker and the party was in full swing. But in the middle of their holiday celebration, the doorbell rang. And what unfolded next was insanely gruesome. Shortly after the doorbell sounded, police received 911 calls from the Ortega's neighbour.
What's your address? Ma'am, I understand. I need to know your address.
My daughter's been shot. She was shot in the face on the side and she's bleeding.
I know. I let the officers know. The officers are making sure it's safe for the paramedics to
I
come
need
in.
a bandage, please. Please come immediately.
What is in your house?
Immediately. I don't know who else is surviving.
I know, ma'am. Just stay on the phone with me, okay?
My whole family, there's 30 people, 25 people.
I know.
The fire department was dispatched to the Ortega house, but the calls kept coming in. Some even reported that they had heard shooting coming from inside the house. When the police arrived at the scene, it was total chaos. One lieutenant said, quote, "When I arrived, to describe it as apocalyptic would be more accurate." End quote. The only Ortega family members police could locate was Letitia, who had managed to escape the fire with her husband and their 8-year-old daughter and make it to a neighbour's house. Letitia's daughter, however, had been shot in the face, so the family had already made their way to the nearby hospital. When police were told what had happened, they were in shock. Police started sifting through the Ortega's scorched home. They found bodies burned beyond recognition, which were later identified as the missing Ortega family members. A total of 9 people had been murdered. So what the fuck happened at the house? At approximately 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, dressed in a Santa Claus suit, knocked on the door of his former in-laws' house occupied by about 25 people. With a gift-wrap package containing a homemade flamethrower in one hand and a 9mm semi-automatic handgun in the other hand. He also had 3 additional 9mm semi-automatic handguns in his possession. When the door opened, Pardo fired the handgun at the 8-year-old daughter of Letitia, a sister of Sylvia Pardo, his estranged wife, as she ran up to greet him. This would injure her in the face horribly, but she would actually survive. Pardo then fired indiscriminately at the fleeing partygoers. Police speculate that Pardo may have stood over and pointedly executed some of the victims. After the shooting, Pardo unwrapped the package containing the homemade flamethrower and used it to spray racing fuel gasoline to set the home ablaze. After the attack, Pardo put his street clothes back on and drove his Dodge Caliber rental car to his brother's house in Sylmar, about 30 miles away from the crime scene. Where he would later be found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His brother was not present in the home at the time of Pardo's death. It was initially believed that Pardo intended to flee to Canada by plane since he had bought an airline ticket to a flight on Air Canada. However, it was subsequently discovered that the flight itinerary on Northwest Airlines was from Los Angeles to Moline, Illinois, with a layover in Minnesota. Pardo had called days before to tell a high school friend that he was planning to visit, but investigators were unsure if he actually intended to visit or if the flight was to just throw the investigators off. He had visited the friend before in October 2008 either way. Other reports stated that the Santa suit had melted during the flamethrower portion of the attack and had adhered to his skin, so not all of it could be removed. Suffering from severe third-degree burns on his arm stemming from the blaze, Pardo decided to go against the initial plan. Police found $17,000 in cash cling-wrapped on the inside of his leg. His rental car, parked 1 block from his brother's house, had been rigged with remnants of his Santa's suit that would detonate the car with black powder if anyone tried to remove it. Also recovered from the scene were 4 13-round capacity handguns that were empty, and at least 200 rounds of ammunition. In a move that suggests that they treated the car as a threat, the bomb squad fired an incendiary device into it. This resulted in the car being absolutely destroyed. At Pardo's house in Montrose, police had recovered 5 empty boxes for semi-automatic handguns, 2 shotguns, and a container for high-octane fuel tank gasoline. They also found what one officer described as a virtual bomb factory inside his home. In 2016, Letitia, one of the surviving family members, told Oprah Winfrey, quote, "I can't do anything to change what happened. I can only focus on the future. This is what he's done. Enough. I'm not going to allow you to continue to consume us with your evilness. You don't want that anger to live within you day to day and just grow. That's what it did with this monster." End quote.
Arena 911.
Yes, I'm on Northwest Avenue. I'm homicidal guide, and he shot my little cousin right now.
Okay, can you tell if there's anybody injured? Because we have fire department and officers en route.
Hello?
Hi.
Please come immediately.
Who's in your house?
Immediately.
Ma'am, is the guy in your house right now?
We're having 2 houses down on the cookie section.
Okay. Ma'am, hold on. Is he at your house?
Yes, he's got this shooting.
What do you think his name is, Bruce?
His name is Bruce Pardo.
Okay, and who is he to you guys?
Excuse me?
Who is he to you?
He's my ex-brother-in-law. They're going through a divorce right now.
Okay.
With my sister.
Hold on 1 second, okay?
I don't know who else is alive.
I know, ma'am. Just stay on the phone with me, okay?
My whole family, there's 30 people, 25 people.
I know. It's okay. The officers are there. They're trying to get to you guys, okay?
He came in through the entrance of the door, and there's a Santa Claus suit, and I didn't see from when he shot, I heard the shots and they were like poppers and I wasn't sure what it was, so everyone started panicking and running, so we all dove under the dining room. Some of us dove, some of us left. I don't know. My mom's house is on the...
Ma'am, the fire department's there, okay? What's he wearing?
What is he wearing? Please. What is he wearing? Please tell me. My nephew... What is he wearing now? He changed his clothes from Santa Claus clothes.
Okay, let me know what he's wearing.
Black clothes.
Another Santa Claus tainted Christmas for another family in Texas in 2011. Aziz Yazdanpana, in the same manner of Pardo, knocked on his estranged wife's door on Christmas Eve. Actually, this one was on Christmas Day. He was dressed in a Santa Claus suit and the family was actually in the middle of opening presents. Aziz opened fire on his family. He killed his wife Fatima Ramati, their 14-year-old son Ali, and their 19-year-old daughter Nona. Also victims to his bloodlust and rage were his wife's sister, Zori Ramati, her husband, Mohammed Hossein Zarai, and their 22-year-old daughter, Sarah. At some point before the slayings finished taking place, someone had called 911 from inside the apartment. But it was just a blank call. No one was actually speaking. After spreading bloodshed and committing the brutal murders, Aziz Yazdanpana took his own life. When the family was found dead by police that Christmas morning, wrapping paper lay scattered throughout with opened and unopened presents splattered in blood. To add chill to the tragedy, the last text that Sarah would send would be to her boyfriend, just as her uncle had shown up, expressing annoyance at him for rocking up in a Santa suit and saying, quote, "Now he wants to be all fatherly and win Father of the Year, just because he fucked up before." End quote.
Authorities say 7 people, likely related, who were cleaning up after opening Christmas gifts together, were found shot to death inside this apartment. Police say they believe the shooter is among the dead, but they sought a search warrant before doing a complete search of the property to make sure. The victims have not been identified, but police say they include 4 women and 3 men ranging in age from 18 to 60 years old.
It's probably the worst investigation that we've had to investigate in many years. This is something that's very tragic, and regardless of what day of the year it happens on, it's something that's very unfortunate, but it's certainly amplified given the fact that it is Christmas today.
Police and firefighters rushed to the apartment after getting a 911 call. Authorities say the call was on an open line where no one was saying anything. They say when they went inside, they found the bodies in an adjoining kitchen and living room. Carlotta Bradley, The Associated Press.
It's supposed to be a season of goodwill and celebrating, a time to relax with the family. For most of us, it's time to have fun and eat a shitload of food and enjoy a glass of wine or 2. However, for some, Christmas can be a time of great strain. Those financial pressures, loneliness, or simply a lot of time with relatives where old tensions may come to the forefront. And sometimes these tensions can explode with devastating results that see spurned spouses turn to murder or brutally exerted on the innocent. Jump in the way, way back machine. Over 100 years ago, in 1911, Charles David Lawson married Fanny Manring, with whom he had 8 children. The third, William, born in 1914, died of an illness in 1920 at just 6 years old. In 1918, following the move of his younger brothers Marion and Elijah to the Germantown area, Lawson followed suit with his family. The Lawsons worked as tenant tobacco farmers, saving enough money by 1927 to actually buy their own farm on Brook Cove Road. This is almost like where they got the script for Red Dead Redemption 2, am I right? In 1929, shortly before Christmas, Charlie Lawson, now aged 43, took Fanny, his wife, who was 37, and their 7 children, Mary, 17, Arthur, 16, Carrie, 12, Mabel, 7, James, 4, Raymond, 2, and Mary Lou, who was just 4 months, into town to buy some new clothes and to have a family portrait taken. This would have been an uncommon occurrence for a working-class rural family of that era and location, which has led to speculations that Charlie's acts may have been premeditated. Lawson's having purchased his own farm 2 years previous, however, together with the fact that an Associated Press wire that went out on the day after the murders characterised Lawson as a well-to-do farmer, would make a pre-Christmas shopping spree maybe appear reasonable, though. Anyway, on the afternoon of December 25th, Christmas Day, Lawson first shot his daughters, Carrie and Mabel, as they were setting out to their uncle and aunt's house. Lawson waited for them by the tobacco barn. When they were in range, he shot them with a 12-gauge shotgun. Then, to ensure that they were dead, he bludgeoned them. He then placed the bodies inside the tobacco barn. Afterwards, Lawson returned to the house and shot his wife Fanny, who was sitting on the porch. As soon as the gun was fired, Mary, who was inside, screamed, while the 2 small boys, James and Raymond, attempted to find a hiding place. Lawson shot Mary, and then found and shot the 2 younger boys. Lastly, he killed the baby, Mary Lou. It is thought that she was bludgeoned to death. After the murders, he went into the nearby woods and, several hours later, shot himself. The only survivor was his eldest son, 16-year-old Arthur, whom he had sent on an errand just before committing the crime. The bodies of the family members were found with their arms crossed and rocks under their heads. The gunshot signalling Charlie Lawson's own suicide was heard by the many people who already had learned of the murders on the property and gathered there. A police officer who was with Arthur Lawson ran down to discover Charlie's body along with letters to his parents. As footprints encircled the tree, it was supposed that he had been pacing around the tree prior to taking his own life.
I love to get in my car and drive through Tyler on Christmas Eve.
Where we live, Christmas is a big deal for us. Our house is completely decorated.
It was a pretty quiet night, actually. It was really slow.
They've been shot in their home.
Are you calling from inside the house? Yes, I can't do it.
When I got that call, I'm going, this is really not happening. But she, more than once, told me that she was in love.
How could you murder innocent people on Christmas Eve?
18-year-old Alexis Valdez was living with his aunt and her boyfriend Silvestre Diaz Hernandez when he and Silvestre got into an argument about Valdez's inability to contribute to paying rent. Rather than moving out or taking it out like a civilized person, Valdez smashed Diaz Hernandez's head in with a hammer. Valdez then closed the windows, turned up the music and cut off his victim's head. Left arm, ears, nose, and gouged out his eyes. As an early Christmas present for his aunt, Alexis left the decapitated head on her pillow. Police found him covered in blood and confessed that had his aunt been home, he would have killed her too. Christmas. Woo!
See the emptiness where she should be.
Convicted killer Joseph McEnroe broke down, grabbed his head, and cried. McEnroe told the jury how he killed 6 members of the Anderson family on Christmas Eve 2007. Wayne Anderson was shot first, then Judy.
Then she wasn't moving anymore, and so I went over by where she was and I told her that I was sorry, and I shot her in the head.
McEnroe blamed his girlfriend, Michelle Anderson, for the killings. She said her brother owed her money and said her family was out to get them.
What did you do to try to stop this, Joe?
I can't even say now. I tried everything that I could.
His attorney asked him why he didn't just leave.
Well, why not just walk out the door and then leave?
I couldn't do that.
Why not stop Michelle Anderson?
Why not just shoot Michelle? My goodness.
She was... For all that, I mean, I don't mean to make her sound like she's like this monstrous boss. I mean,
the defense put McEnroe on the stand to try to convince the jury that he should get life in prison, not the death penalty. When he talked about the killings, he told the jury,
at least nobody suffered. The way that it is, at least nobody suffered.
The Carnation murders were a mass murder that occurred on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, 2007, near Carnation, Washington, a small rural town about 25 miles east of Seattle. The murders took place in the home of one Wayne Scott Anderson and his wife Judy. When Michelle Anderson, the daughter of Wayne and Judy, arrived for Christmas Day with her boyfriend, they took handguns instead of gifts. Wayne, 60, was an engineer at Boeing, and Judy, 61, worked at the local post office. They were devoted to their family and the community. Their daughter Michelle, 29, lived in a caravan on the grounds of the family home with her boyfriend Joseph McEnroe, also 29. On Christmas Eve in 2007, Wayne and Judy had invited them over for the family meal. Their son Scott, 32, his wife Erica, 32, and their children, Olivia, 5, and Nathan, 3. They were all coming too. Michelle was supposedly angry that she was being asked by her parents to pay rent, and that her brother had not repaid money that he owed her. Apparently her fury boiled over, and when they arrived at their home at 4 p.m, Michelle and Joseph shot her parents. When Erica and Scott arrived, the slaughter continued. Despite Erica's pleas to save the little ones, by Christmas Day, all 6 were dead. Their bodies weren't found until Boxing Day.
That's the message from a woman who lost her daughter and grandkids to a killer. As that killer, Joseph McEnroe, was sentenced to life in prison, one of the jurors who convicted him had a surprise apology for the victim's family.
Santee Cruz was in court for the emotional conclusion of a case 8 years in the making. Brandy.
Yeah, Matt Marney. Today, McEnroe was handed the only possible sentence available under the law, life without the possibility of parole, after a jury failed to agree on whether he should be put to death. For those who knew the victims, and even those who didn't, like jurors in the case, today marks the end of a painful chapter and the beginning of another.
Life imprisonment without the possibility of release or parole.
Family and friends of the Anderson family waited more than 7 years for this day and for the chance to tell Joseph McEnroe, in their own words, the devastating impact he had on so many lives.
A person that would do that on Christmas Eve has got to be about as low as a form as you can be.
McEnroe was found guilty on 6 counts of aggravated first-degree murder for killing 3 generations of his ex-girlfriend's family on December 24th, 2007, as they gathered to celebrate the holidays. Shot to death were Wayne and Judy Anderson, Scott Anderson and his wife Erica, and their young children, 5-year-old Olivia and 3-year-old Nathan.
You wiped everybody out, and I'm really sad, and you have ruined my heart.
Also at sentencing were 5 members of the jury that convicted McEnroe. The presiding juror spoke to the family during the hearing.
We were introduced into your family in the most horrific way that we could possibly be.
The process has been long and arduous for everyone involved.
Perhaps the most powerful statement came from the judge himself, Judge Jeffrey Ramsdell, who told McEnroe that he'd been given every protection under the law: capable counsel, the right to a fair trial, the chance to fight for his life.
You have been afforded a tremendous opportunity, Mr. McEnroe. It's the opportunity to live out your life to its natural end. This is an opportunity that you denied to each one of your victims, including 2 children who had barely begun their life's adventure.
After a lengthy trial that centered mostly around McEnroe, today was a day to remember the victims.
Wayne, Judy, Scott, Erica, Nathan, and Olivia will always be in our hearts, and you have touched us deeply.
In the gallery sat 6 white carnations placed there by the court, one in honor of each life that McEnroe took away. The presiding juror who you heard from there actually apologized to the family today, apologized for the fact that McEnroe will not be put to death. Now, the prosecutor in this case, Scott O'Toole, told us this is the first time in his career he's witnessed a juror testify during sentencing. While today marks the end of a difficult chapter for the Anderson family, another is set to begin. Still to go to trial is McEnroe's alleged accomplice, his ex-girlfriend, Michelle Anderson. Jury selection in her case begins later this year. Guys.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm down.
What do you reckon? It's been Christmas, Jack.
Oh my God, what a silly season.
Yeah,
Am I right?
Man, I know,
Oh
right?
my
It's
God.
just outrageous.
Crazy.
What do they mean?
What do you mean?
Christmas.
Ooh, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Burps.
Ooh.
So, what did you reckon about old mate Santa Claus with the flamethrower?
It's so fucking ridiculous, man. I can't... How that actually happened and like what went into it and the fact that no one saw it coming is just out of control, man.
Yeah, and the dude like the fucking murders the whole family, the fucking Father Christmas just brutally slaying the whole family.
I mean, he's sneaking in through your chimney.
Yeah.
What do you expect's gonna happen?
Gotta lock up your wives, lock up your daughters. He's fucking roasting
Lock up your daughter,
everybody.
lock up your wife, lock up your back door and run for your fucking life, am I right? The man's back in town. That's Santa Claus right there. What are we talking about?
Do you have a Merry Christmas message for everyone for the end of the new year? End of the year. Welcome into the new year. You're in fucking Adelaide at the moment, wherever you are.
I'm so keen
Moment.
to do a breakdown on whatever episode. Maybe you should just do a timeline and then we can do a breakdown. You just said Santa Claus with a flamethrower,
Yeah,
right?
that's like that picture that I shared. Remember? And I was like, we're going to light up the Christmas season with this next episode.
I didn't click on it because I thought it could have been related to it.
It is related to it. It's Father Christmas with a flamethrower. You just heard it. You just heard the whole episode.
That's it. It's Father Christmas flamethrower killing his family.
Yep.
I want the ins and outs. I want the up and downs of the chimney, you know what I mean? I want the milk and cookies. I want all of it. I want that mistletoe and fucking kisseltoe. Ben Kisseltoe. Nailed it. Good one.
Yeah, last podcast reference.
They'll never too racist for that. I mean, they took down an episode where they got a little bit racist and you can't find it anymore. Yeah. Oh, how's fucking, what is it? Radiolab.
That's old news.
Yeah,
Covered that. We're talking about Father Christmas with the flamethrower.
Yeah, that's right.
And what are your Christmas wishes for everyone? Signing off for the Christmas break.
Pray to baby Jesus. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll be thinking of yous.
Who's going to make the gravy?
All the treasure and the trash. I'll tell you what. What are you going to do? Just add flour, salt, a little red wine. Don't forget a dollop of tomato sauce for that sweetness and extra tang. That's all you need.
Damn straight. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas.
Have a crazy Kwanzaa.
Stay safe. Don't kill yourselves.
Don't kill yourself on purpose, and don't kill yourself by accident. You know?
Neither of them.
Yeah.
Live a full, happy life. Listen to podcasts and be merry.
What's the point of living a full, happy life? It was fucked.
Yeah, that's all right, though. You got to ride it out. You just got to take it for what it is. You get to see the end of the world.
It's like getting a nut busted on your face and you just got to pretend to enjoy it.
Yeah. But they do. Porn's the biggest industry in the world. It's
Damn
not
right.
like they
And you
don't
wait
sell
till
it.
we release our episode of pornography, murder pornography.
Damn
one would say. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Santa
y'all.
was on fire.
Yep. With
Santa-
flamethrower. Setting people on fire.
He's
killing people.
he's red anyway, so you know he's fast. How many people did he
Murdered the
kill?
whole family.
Whole family. His family.
Bunch of people. Several massacres.
Oh my goodness. I'm down for this. I can't
Several
wait for it.
massacres.
Several. So
Several Christmas-themed massacres.
So at least 10 people.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Murdered by Father Christmas.
What is it? On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a light bulb up my vagina.
A death by incendiaries.
Ooh, I like that one. Very nice. Fucking nailed it, boy.
Sign off.
See you later.
Hooroo.
Oh my goodness.
Well, wasn't that a merry, raucous rampage through some classic holiday homicides? Brilliant. Nah, that was just a little bit of a random episode. How you going, everyone? Sean here. Thanks so much for another year of podcasting. You all mean the world to Jack and myself. Jack is currently over in eastern states of Australia visiting his family up in Omeo or something like that, I think, being all Victorian and whatnot. I'm about to go watch Love Actually with my beautiful girlfriend Kate. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you have an amazing Christmas, happy Hanukkah, crazy Kwanzaa, whatever else non-denominational specific holiday you want to celebrate. You do you. We love our Patreons. Can't say enough. Thank you. You mean the world to us. We'll be back next week, probably with our regular programming. We've got the breakdown of Junku Furuta to come. We just thought we'd throw in this Christmas one for now. It's Christmas Eve right now in Australia. And I mean, you probably don't want, some brutal Asian head stomping for your Christmas episode. So instead I thought I'd give you a bunch of people being burnt and murdered. Ah, yeah, good one. Whatever. Have a good Christmas. Love you all. Stay safe. See you soon. Love you. Bye. Bye. Merry Christmas. Love you. Stay safe. Catch ya.
I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Christmas is all around me, and so the feeling grows. It's written in